Welcome back to the Mountain Witch Tarot channel. I am your host, Sarah, and today we are going to do something so fun. You guys are going to love this, okay? This is unlike anything we've done before. I'm really excited about it. Before we get started, please take a moment to hit that like button. It really helps my channel out. And if you enjoy political divination, hit the subscribe, stick around, become part of the community. Now listen up. Here's what we're talking about. So apparently Jen Psaki, y'all know who that is, right? She said that Usha Vance is fixing to file a divorce against JD. Okay. Like, apparently she has some type of inside source who knows this is factually true, I suppose. Now, this caused a little bit of drama online, and a lot of people, like Fox News and some random right-wing Twitter people, I don't even know who, like some people are flipping out about this. A lot of people are mad because how dare anybody question the regime and, you know, all that stuff. We're going to do something so fun today. And this is fun for me because I don't very often have the chance to do relationship readings with tarot and Lenormand. And let me tell you something, if you don't know much about Lenormand, because I know it's lesser known than tarot, where it really shines is in a relationship reading. I suspect that if we snoop and pry a little bit on JD's love life, we're going to get some answers like we don't normally get when we do a political reading. So I'm going to do this one different. Like I said, we're not going to do the political reassignments. We're going to read this like I'm giving someone a relationship tableau. So let's get started. Ooh, y'all, there is so much here. Their relationship is a mess. It is a clustered mess. Now, the first thing I want to point out is the two cards we didn't get, the anchor and the dog. So in a relationship reading, this is a big deal. There's no stability and there's no loyalty. It didn't even place in the tableau. So that's how little importance we have on stability and loyalty in JD and Usha's marriage. The rules of a relationship, Lenormand tableau, are different. I'm not going to explain it. You'll catch it as I go over it. All right. So we didn't assign JD as the primary significator or the secondary significator. We're just looking at this from the outside as like a snooping, nosy third party. So we don't know specifically. I guess we could say, since we're more familiar publicly with JD, we could say that he probably is the primary significator. It doesn't really matter all that much. What does matter is that JD is right here. Usha's all the way down here. JD fell in the heart of the story. So largely all of this situation is about him and the responsibility that he has in the relationship. So I feel like this is a good indicator that he's kind of the driving force of the problem. We don't necessarily find that surprising, but it is confirmed by the cards. So I just wanted to throw it out there. So looking at JD here at the center of the reading, it's very interesting how we have JD, the sun, the bear, and the heart. JD is in fact standing on top of his heart. He's over his heart. So that kind of tells me that like he's protective of his heart, his feelings, his emotions. We have a card here for the letter, which is communication and, being able to just openly communicate feelings in kind of a big way. That's important. Keep that in mind as we go. Now, in a relationship reading, the lily card's very important. You'll notice that JD is, while it's in his near, it's not very close to him and it's beneath him. The lily being beneath the significator is a sign that they are not really doing their duty in the relationship, that they are doing something that is not virtuous, basically. You will also notice that Usha is in line with the lily. So that's a good indicator that JD has not respected their marriage, but Usha has. She has been loyal and faithful and patient, while JD has kind of just trampled on all of the things that they're supposed to have as, partners, as two people in a marriage. He doesn't care about it. So what does JD care about? Well, if you look right around him here, he cares about fame. He cares about putting himself out there. He cares about this right here, which is an interesting line. So we have the scythe for sharp, painful cuts or getting hit with something quickly. We have the ship for progress, commerce. Slow progress is something that I normally like to think of it as. And we have the whip as repeated, potentially aggressive motions. So after looking at this for a second, I feel like this is a short message above him because we're asking specifically about the fate of their marriage and the condition it's in right now. He is primarily taking on the role of the instigator of the problem. So each time they progress towards more decay in their relationship, it's because of him, because he has these cards over top of his head. And they're in his immediate circle here. So, okay, now let's take a look at Usha and what is immediately around her. Right off the bat, Usha and her job. So if you guys don't know, I've read this somewhere. I assume it's true. I might not be 100% right about this because I don't really keep up with, everybody's life. I'm nosy, but I'm not that nosy. It's being part of public, being part of, society, things changing and moving away from where you want them to be, and the card of work. So the thing that's on Usha's mind is she misses her job. She misses practicing law. She feels like, and we're not reading the tree card as health here, we're reading it as kind of like thriving. She's not thriving in the situation that she's in right now because she has the coffin and the tree and the lily. And that kind of tells me, like, right in front of her here, she is doing everything she can to keep this marriage together, and she's not thriving. And it really is just kind of coming to an end because the most important thing on her mind right now is the fact that she misses work. She's been deeply committed to this marriage, but it hasn't mattered. Now let's talk about the ring card for a minute, because in a relationship reading, as you might imagine, the ring is extremely important. First thing I want you to notice is how far away the ring is from JD. His back is turned to it. It's still above Usha's head, although it is quite a bit farther away than like her job or the fact that she's not thriving. So it's moving further away. Now, here's what's really interesting. We did get the mice card. If the mouse card had turned up right next to or somewhere very near the ring card, I would say, oh, they're absolutely going to get a divorce very, very soon. And like there's no salvaging the relationship. However, the mouse card's pretty far away, and we'll get to it because it has its own message that it's here to talk about. But the rules in a grand tableau traditionally, especially for a relationship reading, is that the farther to the left the ring is, the less hope there is for the relationship. Okay, this ring is 1 block away from being gone off the board. There's probably no hope for their relationship, but we didn't get the mouse card next to it. So most of the time, what this actually means in practice is that if the mice card and the ring card show up together this far towards the left side of the tableau, it generally means that not only is the relationship forgotten and left in the past, or it has stopped at some point in the past, it also means that there's no recovering it. Because when you're looking for a lost object with Lenormand, and yes, that can apply to relationships, the mice card being near your significator card, which in this case would be the ring, means that you're not going to get it back. It's gone forever. But the mice card's pretty far away. So we'll give them that. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Yes, their relationship is in horrible condition, but there may still be a chance that they stay together. I don't think there's a chance they're going to work things out, but I think they're probably going to try to stay together, at least for public appearances. We'll get there. There might be some clues about that. Interestingly enough, Usha nods to the ring. Isn't that interesting? So what that tells me is that Usha, once again, she's the one trying her best. She is really, truly trying. She is, keeping their vows and their marriage in mind with every choice that she makes and trying to honor, deeply honoring their marriage. But it doesn't seem to matter to JD because he's got all this power now. He's so surrounded by power and fame. And he's off in this world of treachery and malice and, doing these horrible things for the access to power that he has, that he's forgotten. Like, he's just brushed her aside. Okay? Really depressing. Really depressing. But Usha, girl, if you're watching this, hit me up. I'll do you another personal reading and we'll dive even deeper because this is terrible. The next thing we want to look at for a relationship reading is how is their home life. So we have the house card right here. Okay. Now, right above the house card, we have the snake, the key, the bouquet, the mice, the book, the bed. This is the spicy bed, not the sick bed from the other deck, okay? Keep that in mind because I'm going to go back to Usha and this here in just a little bit. We have the letter and the stars. So what does all this mean? At home, there is a lot of fighting and leaving. So I suspect that this message right here is running into this line and this line. So we've got an energy current, if you will, kind of going this way. There's a lot of fighting at home. There's a lot of, I'm mad, I'm leaving, 2:00 in the morning, grab my coat, slam my way out the door and go take off in the car and not come back until noon tomorrow. That kind of energy going on. We also have the birds card right at the center of it, which is the couples card and the nervous chatter and anxieties and things like that. So there is a lot of fighting behind closed doors at home. Now, what are they fighting about? Well, they're fighting about this snake card right here. So traditionally in Lenormand, especially in a relationship reading, and I'll just say I normally wouldn't say this because this kind of gets tricky. If this lily card had been directly under his feet and this snake card would have been one card closer, I would say he's definitely 100% without a doubt cheating. But they're a little bit spread out. They're not so spread out that there's not an inkling. Okay, what are they fighting about at home? This snake card in a relationship reading in proximity of the home is most likely him being unfaithful. But knowing that it's JD Vance or whatever his last name is, because in case you all haven't heard, part of this controversy is that he's gone through a whole bunch of last names and he's not really who he says he is and he didn't do the job in the military he said he did. It's a rabbit hole, but we're not going to talk about that right now. We'll talk about that in another video. Right here, kind of looks like they're fighting over another woman. But it could also be that they are fighting about the horrible things that he's doing because of his fame and power. Okay. It could also still be cheating, but I think it's more likely with the stars card and the key card here that this is about, she has a problem, a big problem with who he has become and who he is in this very moment. And it's right here in this block of cards. So at home, communication and happiness is kind of determined by this block of cards. Who's leaving, who's yelling, who's arguing, who is starting fights over and over again, getting in their car and taking off. With this card so close to all of this, there may be even a little bit of pushing and shoving, physical stuff. Allegedly for entertainment purposes, okay? We're just reading Lenormand cards, JD. Calm down. But it looks really bad at home. Really bad. Now, underneath at home, this line is attached to this energy, but it feeds back to her. So let's go back to Usha. Usha is, of course, she's hit a wall as far as thriving goes. She is trying to remain loyal and dutiful, but at the same time, her options, the romance in their relationship, and him being honest and truthful and forthcoming with her has been completely eroded. So at home, these things are not taking place. They are not having a romance. They are not, that part of their marriage is probably like as dead as this coffin card over here. Open communication. We've got the book and letter coming in together here, which means that they're not talking very often. I wouldn't be surprised if they go for days without speaking to each other based on, and also this communication right next to the heart card is taking it one step further and saying that there's no verbal affection either. Like, no, I love you, no, how was your day? None of that kind of thing going on at home, right? So the happiness is kind of trapped within this wall of misery here. And it's really just all of this is eroding everything. And it's eroding her ability to maintain this dutiful wife persona that she has to keep, while the whole time she's just thinking like, I want to go back to work. Nothing I've done in this relationship even mattered to begin with. I think she's starting to see how, her place in his life. Now, some of the cards I didn't cover is the entrance cards up here, which is a tower, the moon, and the child card. I think there's a couple of different meanings here. So for a long time, JD's reputation has been evolving and changing. And it's eventually, got to the point now where she knows him as someone who brings pain, suffering, turmoil. Any type of progress they try to make is met with fighting and arguing and somebody running away. And incidentally, this, of course, also feeds into the energy going down because all of this has been going on for a long time. This reputation, all of this that's represented, this is not new. This has been going on for a while. The only thing that's really different is that it's getting bigger and worse. Okay, this situation is getting bigger and worse, but it's an old situation. So what are some things that are really important to JD in this tableau? Well, if we knot him to the child, we knot him to the birds, we knot him to work, we knot him to house. This could be the White House since we're talking specifically about him. It looks like the only thing that really matters most to him is his position right now, his work position in the White House. He's trying to grow his reputation and his persona and trying to be someone new. I kind of get the feeling that JD is someone who his personality just kind of changes with the wind, So I don't think he really has any strongly held beliefs or convictions or anything like that. I think he just kind of like this clover behind him. He just goes where the wind carries him. It's just, everything's chill, everything's whatever. As long as he is able to gain power and money and admiration and, all of that crap, I don't think he cares about much else. And I think that she started to realize this. And the fact that she is so far below him, I don't know if I pointed that out already, but that alone is really telling. Like she's, And now, interestingly enough, since I talked about it with the ring card, since I'm on this topic again, if we're looking at him as a significator, she is lost very far to the left side of the tableau, and she mirrors to the mice. Now, because this is a little bit convoluted, what I would say if someone, if JD Vance come and ask me, hey, can you do a Lenormand reading for me about whether or not my wife wants to divorce me? What I would tell him based on these three cards is that She's lost in the past. The relationship is stunted somewhere behind you down the road. You left her there, and now she knights, or not knights, but mirrors to the mice. So the mice card is not next to her, but it does mirror with her, which means that she is gone in a way that he will never be able to recover her from. Does that make sense? And it's interesting, like Lenormand's amazing for that kind of thing. Like sometimes a card doesn't have to literally be right next to a card in order to get the point across. Interestingly enough, while we're talking about mirroring, if you mirror the ring card, mirrors to a snake. And that's another good indicator that he has not been loyal to her. So just wanted to point that out. While we're on the topic of mirroring, we'll point out a couple more here, important ones anyway. So the Lily card actually mirrors to the Crossroads. And the Crossroads card, is talking about different paths, different journeys, and in this circumstance, probably like a way out. So I think since she is in line with the Lily, she's kind of looking at, how do I get out of this situation? Because there really isn't much higher profile situation that I could possibly be in. And now that I'm stuck in it, what do I do? So those two cards together are very telling. A couple more things and we're going to wrap this up. So we haven't covered the fate line yet. So let's build up to that. If we look at JD vertically here, we have a very interesting message about him as a person. He's got the ship, him, the heart, the crossroads, and the cross. To me, what that's talking about is the fact that there is something with JD, some underlying emotional issue that is causing him to have, I keep thinking of the phrase, he has like a transient heart. And I think I mentioned this already. His heart is never, firmly rooted. Again, we didn't get the anchor card, which would have, really meant something here. His heart's never firmly rooted in anything aside from power, fame, fortune, access to control, and, all of these superficial, job-related, power-hungry things. The progress, the heart, the crossroads, that just kind of tells me that his heart and his feelings constantly change. And they are a burden to him. I think this man truly is burdened by emotions. I think it's easier for him to never truly emotionally invest in anything besides the two things that he knows are for certain, which is power and money. And, this key card here is, for me in this scenario, very representative of not only just power, but the finances involved in where he is right now in his life. Those are the things that matter to him. Those are the things that he knights to. He knights to power. So, emotional things and matters of the heart are nothing but a burden to him. So, let's see. One thing we didn't check is, and this is something I forgot because I don't very often get the chance to do a relationship grand tableau. They do have kids, so you can always look for the child card and kind of look around in their immediate circle to see what the status is with the kids. And I don't know if this will be accurate because I kind of forgot to set my intentions for their kids. But if this is representative of his kids at all, he has a reputation for maybe being pretty harsh with them. Maybe they feel kind of trivial to him, but they're just part of the contract and part of his power and really nothing more. So not a whole lot coming in around the kids. But the fate line, let's get to the fate line. Some real bad cards in the fate line. We've got a mountain, which is indicative of an enormous obstacle or challenge. We've got the fox, which is usually self-interest and doing what you do to survive. the cross for burdens and the cloud for basically, confusion and uncertainty. So that's kind of the theme in JD's marriage with Usha, is they don't communicate. There's a wall between them, basically. Everything between them is about self-interest. It's about, obligations, social and political and financial obligations, and not really about heart or their marriage. Their relationship is most likely their biggest burden for both of them. It is the biggest burden, and it brings nothing but confusion and uncertainty to their lives. So if someone came to me for this relationship reading, I would say run, girl, run. There are a couple of other things here and there that I could point out, but I think you all get the gist of it. All right, guys, that is it for JD and Usha's relationship Lenormand Grand Tableau. Let me know in the comments what you think. And let me know if there's anybody else you would like for me to snoop and pry on. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you enjoy political divination, go ahead and hit the subscribe. Become part of the community. We'd love to have you. And I hope you all have a great rest of your week and a wonderful weekend. And I will see you in the next video.